Hello and welcome back to Surly Thames. Now this one's kind of a revisiting of just a previous video about TRAGG and the Sky Gods. So part two, if you will. Looking into it, the video that I shot was taken from three separate sources on the internet. Now, one of them being Wikipedia, which we all know that that's so truthful and complete. And a few other ones were from pricing sites that would have a brief synopsis about the series. Now, what I failed to understand, and if you look back here, there's actually some, let me see, actually you can't see them real well, but there's a collection of magazines, mostly Alter Ego and Back Issue, was it Retro Fan, and there's a couple other comic book artists, stuff like that. I usually have these as my reference material for quite a few things. And about a year ago, there was an issue about Conan. I would suggest that issue if you're looking for information on old barbarian titles such as Conan, Warlord. They had a write-up and that was really good. But more recently, I've not had the opportunity to read through a lot of my last like 3 or 4 issues of each book because I've been kind of busy doing other things. And I found the issue 144 of Back Issue, which it had a Khazar cover, and I really didn't think much about it. At the bottom, there's a transparent box filled with other topics within the issue. Unfortunately, you almost can't see the lettering. Now, in this issue, of course, there is a nice John Buscema cover, so I can understand why they were trying not to cover up the artwork, but it made it very hard for me to tell what was there. Very good issue, of course. I went through and read it. There is an article about Glut talking about Dagar, which I found out the proper pronunciation just recently, and TRAGG and the Sky Gods. And what led to those books, it was a nice interview with Glut. Now, the original first appearance was in a digest, Mystery Comics Digest number 3 from April of 1972. Now, the story was called Cry of the Direwolf, and that was the actual first appearance of TRAGG. Now, one of the things that I got wrong was how the creation of TRAGG and Lorne came about. Now, from what I read in the snippets of information, the aliens had come down and altered TRAGG and Lorne. In actuality, they came back or they came to Earth and they genetically altered the two mothers, which then bore TRAGG and Lorne. Also, thanks to Grayman, I had went through and looked up a lot more information. Now, the information about the changing from Neanderthals to Cro-Magnon was actually correct, as Neanderthals had actually existed theoretically between 400,000 years ago and 40,000 years ago, followed by the Cro-Magnon, which existed between 40,000. Now, according to Glut, this series was brought about because he had wanted to do a series, much like the Kubert run of Tor. He wanted to create such a book, but Gold Key really wasn't into that. But it wasn't until the popularity of the book Chariots of the Gods by Eric von Daniken that Gold Key got on board with the project. And learning more about the series, it makes me even more interested in getting the other issues, of which last episode, or the previous episode, I had said there were 9 issues. Technically 8 issues, then 9, I believe I had said something about this before, was a reprint of issue 1. I believe it was released in a 3-pack and had a more cartoony cover instead of a painted cover. The only thing it's really made me want is to deep dive into a lot more of the Gold Key / Whitman characters that were produced of this vein, like Dagar. I actually read my first issue of Turok the other day, the classic Gold Key Turok. But I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.